Hey, I'm Patrick. Welcome to Meditations on Being. I'm not really sure what wants to come through today, but I wanted to record something. I've had some very interesting experiences recently with attempting to channel information. One of my focuses has been on surrendering deeper and deeper as much as I can while I feel like something wants to come through. And that has been interesting. Had an interesting experience in the shower where I started speaking some kind of like rhythmic light language. It was musical in nature, or maybe kind of like drum-like in nature. Very weird, interesting, cool experience. The problem that I'm encountering is that I feel like I'm trying to force it to happen, and obviously that's not gonna work. So yeah, I'm just trying to let it happen and to not interrupt it with thoughts, because my thoughts have come through and tried to dictate what should or shouldn't be coming through, or what it should or shouldn't look like, or putting restrictions on like making it make sense, because I would start in a specific train of thought and it felt more like consciously controlled, and I'd begin to like surrender, and the words that would come out would be kind of like not unrelated, but it wouldn't be like the completion of my sentence didn't really make sense. And then my mind kicked in and interrupted me by saying like, well, shouldn't it make sense? What am I recording this nonsense for? So yeah, it's been an interesting process to go through this. I don't actually know if I'm a voice channel. Like, I don't know if that's something that I will end up being, but it's interesting to explore that idea. And I certainly know that I channel writing, so I don't see why speaking would be different, I guess, on some level. Maybe it is different, but I don't see why it would be. Yeah, so that's an update. The other thing that's come up today for me is that I'm beginning to let some things go, and that is bringing up a lot of density, I guess. Or like the reaction is that I feel like I should bring something up with the releasing of old beliefs and old habits. But this might just be something that I'm choosing to sit with as it goes out of me and kind of leaves, I don't know, I'm not quite sure where I'm at in terms of that. But it is definitely, I'm feeling some density regardless of whether it's right or wrong. And I also don't want to say right or wrong, because why bring a judgment to it? Yeah. One of the people that I mentioned before that I follow and enjoy their work is an entity called Bashar, who's an alien channeled by a man named Darryl Anka. And he says he has like a step-by-step guide for how to, I guess, live your best life. And one of the steps there is it feels like really challenging to get through, in that it's just like, find a negative belief of yourself, or like find a situation where you aren't happy with what's happening, and there may be associated with that a belief that you have that's negative, that causes you to experience things like this. And he says that to uproot the negative belief, you need to discover that it is nonsensical, and it is assumed to be nonsensical, which is something that I guess I can believe. I mean, I haven't found one that wasn't nonsensical, but his instructions for how to find them to be nonsensical is just to figure out what they are, and the second that you figure out what that negative belief is, you'll realize that it's nonsensical and it will disappear forever. Like, you won't feel that feeling again. That's an overstatement. You won't have that belief anymore. And if you do find that you still have a behavior that's associated with the belief, that means that you didn't discover the true underlying negative belief. And there's another one under it that you need to discover and uproot in the same manner. And this is, like, to my eye, obviously, I believe that it's true, and I want to work in this fashion in my life. But to my eye, and probably others, it seems like frustratingly vague. And it's just becoming more concrete to me today. In that, like, the exercise that I'm trying is just writing down what the negative situation is and saying, like, what would I have to believe is true in order to believe this about myself. Like, I don't want to give too much of personal information away, so I don't want to really give, like, the example that I was working on, but trying to think of something else that is, like, true and something I'd be willing to share. I can take my dog for an example. So sometimes when we go on walks, he will be, like, really pulling and, like, scatterbrained, and sometimes he'll, like, run into me to try to get to something on the other side, and it's just, like, kind of annoying. And I would prefer that were not happening. But what I would really prefer, I suppose, is that my reaction to whatever was happening, in this case, difficulty with my dog, I would prefer that my reaction is one of, like, whatever happens, this dog can't bother me because I can turn any situation into a positive one. Even if, like, any situation could be positive, neutral, or negative. And I would prefer to have this situation be one where I react positively, where I'm able to, I don't know what that would necessarily look like in the best scenario. So what I would write down in this case is, what would I have to believe is true in order to react this way to my dog? And so the exercise is simply that. You write that down and then, quote unquote, be honest with yourself and desire to discover the outcome. And you will discover the outcome within, I think I've heard him say, typically 48 hours, but I don't know. It was a very old recording. I don't know if he still sticks to that timeline. And you have to be open to it not coming in like a download of information necessarily. You have to be open to it, like, maybe you'll see, like, an Instagram video that says something that, if you interpret it loosely, not necessarily loosely as in, like, not following the facts, but if it's not applicable to dogs, it's applicable to toddlers, you could still apply it to your dog if it's applicable. So, like, the answer will come. I'm getting a little confused because the answer in this case is not what I need to know about the dog. It's what I believe is true of myself that I would be willing to react like that. So yeah, it gets a little complicated, but Bashar kind of insists over and over again that these are only complicated because we are making it complicated. And so that's just like, my dog just twitched. It's a funny synchronicity. He's sleeping right there. Yeah. I don't know. It's something I'm playing with. And I feel like it's bringing up a lot of, like, I'm tangentially close to experiencing negative beliefs more strongly today, but it's like I'm letting them breathe through my body, and I'm kind of seeing that, like, this is my way out, and so I'm willing to examine these things as a way to, like, make my life better. My ear just started ringing, so that's usually one of my signs that something is agreeing, just like the synchronicity of my dog twitching. Yeah. I guess that's all I've got for today. I'm feeling like I want to express more things. Yeah, that energetically is feeling flowing. And so I can try channeling, but I don't know really how or what's gonna come up. I don't need to know what's gonna come up. That's fine. Doesn't matter what's gonna come up. I'm just gonna take some deep breaths. Yeah, something wanted to come through, but my first reaction is to, like, analyze it or stop it in some way. But it was basically an explanation to me of how these feelings that I'm feeling in my body, in my head, like negative feelings and kind of a headache, those are, like, associated with the processing and release of old beliefs. And then I started to think and try to explain something to myself or investigate further, and it kind of stopped the process. Okay, getting the need to forgive. Forgiveness, self-forgiveness, and self-compassion is the key to releasing these things and to making progress. It's something that's not emphasized enough in sort of the strivings of both Bashar and Zero. It's an emphasis, this at least resonates with me, perhaps it resonates with you. It's an emphasis on self-forgiveness and self-worth as a way to make progress as well. It's a focus, don't just work on the things that you're working on or the activities that you're following, etc. Also, love yourself. It just makes everything easier. Like, lift things upwards, and once you get that ball rolling, it's easy to push it off a cliff and have it snowball. Also, spending time in nature seems to be important for me. Seeing a garden, seeing English ivy growing on, like, a fence. Seeing, like, a British UK backyard garden. So cultivating the land, cultivating a relationship with the land, and making something beautiful, and spending time outside with land, and just being in its presence, and kind of a co-creation, co-working together between human and nature to create something pleasing for both. Also fairies associated with that and elementals with that message. It's okay. Also, it's okay is the message that I'm getting for all of us. Everything's okay. Don't be bothered by the processes you go through. Don't be rushed or stressed. Everything happens when it needs to happen. And you're not ahead or behind. You can't get ahead. You're not behind. You're right on time. Seeing geometry of a cube as well. It's a red cube. Kind of morphs its shape. Can be a cube, but it also extends larger on two of the sides. Two of the faces. Two of the faces. I guess three. Interesting. Okay, well, I think I'm going to leave it there. Thanks for joining me. Yeah, I'll see you soon. Bye.